I'm Laurent Potdevin. The entire team at Lululemon has built an incredible foundation and momentum. Shit.
That's
it.
That's a bunch of shit.
I got this feeling on the summer day when you were gone. I crashed my car into the bridge.
Nah, I'll stay.
I don't care. I love it. I don't care. You're on a different road. I'm in the Milky Way. You want me down on Earth, but I am up in space. You're so damn hard to please. We gotta kill this switch. You're from the 70s, but I'm a 90s bitch. I love it. I love it. I love it.
That's a wrap. We got it.
So 2 years ago, I was hosting our leadership conference in Vancouver, and we had 1,200 of our very best store managers, assistant store managers, and directors from around the world. And we put out our 10-year vision. And our 10-year vision was that by 2025, we'll have touched the lives of 1 billion people through athleticism and mindfulness. There hasn't been a week since then where I've had a panic attack about it, just thinking about the sheer scope of the number. And seeing this video is actually something that I should do every day. It's such an incredible reminder of the passion, the engagement, the excitement, and the amazing people that I get to work with every day. So, Kate, I'm not sure where you are in the room, but these should be playing, hi. These should be playing in the lobby every morning. So today I want to spend a little bit of time talking to you guys about 3 very simple things that are incredibly powerful and are truly ingrained in the DNA of what we do at Lululemon. One is trust, one is listening, and the last one is purpose. So trust. Back in November, we're like halfway through our quarter. It's obviously our biggest quarter of the year. We're 6 weeks in, and we've told Wall Street, we've told our shareholders, we've told the board of directors, we've told pretty much the entire world that we're going to do between $698 and $704 million in sales. Now, keep in mind that that $6 million range, that time of the year is about like 5 hours worth of sales. So you've got to be pretty damn accurate. And halfway through the quarter, we're running at about 48%. So I'm freaking out. You know, the rest of the retail world is shit. Everybody is deeply discounting their product. And we're like right on the edge of crushing our goals or not quite making it. So I get with my group, and I go straight into solution. I'm like, what can we do to drive traffic? What can we do to drive conversion? Should we use our ambassadors? Should we have extended hours? And at that point, Celeste, who runs our North American business, most infectious laugh in the company, taps me on the shoulder. She runs $1.5 billion business, taps me on the shoulder and says, LP, what the fuck are you doing? This is our biggest quarter, and you're creating more work for people. Why don't you trust that they are the absolute best in the industry? And why don't you trust that they know what they're doing and that they will deliver on their goals? So the leader that I was probably 5 or 7 years ago would have said, Celeste, why don't you back off? I'll tell you when to chime in, but we're going to do all these things to make sure that we crush our goals. And really, the lesson that I learned over the past few years is that the power of listening is far greater than the power of driving solution. And Celeste had a point. I absolutely trust all 370 of our store managers. I implicitly trust Celeste. I think the one that I wasn't trusting was myself. And so the point that I want to make with you guys is that trusting the people you're working with is obvious. Half of you are probably rolling your eyes right now saying, what the hell is he talking about? But to do that powerfully, you've got to trust yourself. And to trust yourself, you've got to be able to face your fears, you've got to be able to challenge yourself, and that comes through personal development. And personal development is at the core of figuring out who you are and what your purpose is on earth. And so I'm absolutely convinced that the success of Lululemon, the success of our 10,000 educators, is the result of the focus that we place on personal development. It's not by accident that we do $2,000 per square foot and be one of the most productive retailers in the world. And so that personal development commitment, it sounds simple, but it's a daily practice, it's a commitment, and I tell people that if you have $100 to invest in people's training, don't bother with executive training, don't bother with retreats, don't bother with functional training, invest in the personal development of your people. And that will pay tenfold what you would do otherwise. So you trust your people, you trust yourself, you've got a commitment towards personal development. The magic now really happens when you listen. And I think it's one of the most interesting evolutions that I've seen in leadership over the past 10 years, right? It used to be command and control, top-down direction, you tell people what to do, they go do it. And it worked. But what I see today that is far more interesting is actually listening, and I love the concept of question storming. Right? So I was probably the guy 10 years ago that had the pressure early on as being a CEO of waking up in the morning and saying, okay, I'm going to have to be the smartest one in the room. I'm going to have, or at least try to be the smartest one in the room. I'm going to have all the solution. I'm going to have to support people. And it's not a very fun way to wake up in the morning. What I do today is that I'm committed to listening, because listening drives curiosity, and I do believe that curiosity breeds innovation. But being in a position of asking the most insightful, the most relevant, the tough question actually frees me tremendously from having all the solutions. And when you listen to Peter Diamandis this morning saying that we're going to have 7 billion people connected in the next few years, I mean, who are we to think that we can have all the solutions ourselves? But beyond that, so I'm freed, but for my team, asking the right questions really put them in the position where they own the solution. And me telling them to do something is one thing. Them truly owning what they're going to do produces incredible results. So 2 months ago, I'm with our product designers, and they're showing me the fall-winter line. The product looks awesome. We appointed an amazing creative director about a year ago. His product is coming to life. But I can sense that in the room, there is tension. Like, they're happy about the product, but something's not flowing, but nobody's saying anything. And so I asked them, I'm like, what the hell is bothering you? Like, you're showing me a product that you're so proud of, but something's not working. And they're like, they share that visual merchandising is not great, store design is not great, and they feel like the environment is actually not going to put the product in its best light possible. And you can tell they're super bummed. So I asked them, I'm like, well, if you had one store, 1 month, what would you do? And so it was incredible to see the passion come to life, right? Courtney wanted to repaint all the walls white so that the textures of the product would come to life. Jessica wanted to work on the lighting, and Allison wanted to work on the music. So just by virtue of listening, I gave them 50 grand, I gave them 1 month to work on one of our stores that probably needed the most TLC. I mean, it was a little dated. It had not been renovated in quite some time. And I let them run with it. Last Wednesday, I was in that store, and what I thought was mind-blowing. In 4 months, a group of 5 people totally changed the environment and created an environment where the design intent of our product is going to come to life in a really, really powerful way. So think about that. I mean, yeah, they did do a great job, but it's a $2.5 billion organization. We've got a construction department, we've got a design department, we've got facilities department, we've got, I don't know, we've got trucks. They could have easily go to all of these departments and say, hey, you have 1 month to do this. So what drove them to rent a U-Haul, do round trip to IKEA, go to Home Depot, and pull a couple all-nighter to make the store look that great? It wasn't about selling more black stretchy pants. It wasn't about the store looking great. It was their deep alignment with our purpose of elevating the world to greatness in the community where we have a presence. And so that brings me to purpose. I mean, a lot of companies have purpose, right? I mean, I was at Louis Vuitton, the purpose was the art of travel. At Burton, it was standing sideways, really to piss off the skiers. At Tom's, it was bringing to life the one-for-one model. And at Lululemon, it's bringing athleticism and mindfulness to the rest of the world. And a model that I've been really passionate about these past couple of years is the concept of doing well to do good. And I was at an offsite with my team, and I had invited David G to facilitate the offsite. So some of you, do you guys know David G? Some of them do. He looks like Santa Claus. He spent the first 20 years of his career as a junk bond trader in New York, and the last 20 years as a meditation guru working with the Chopra Center and others. And he brings incredible perspective. And so I was talking to my team about the concept of doing well to do good. And Doug, my head of brand and community, looks at me and he's like, LP, I have no fucking clue what you're talking about. It makes no sense to me. And I got a little cranky. And so David G, as a good meditator, got in between the two of us and grabbed a flip chart. And on his flip chart, he drew an arc. And on his arc, he said, well, on one end of the spectrum, you can be an organization, a brand that has no soul, no purpose. You can be highly profitable, and it's not going to last very long, but you can make a shitload of money. And on the other end of the spectrum, you're an NGO. You've got a ton of purpose, but you don't have a bottom line, and you're actually relying on donation to survive. And it's actually in looking at that arc that what I was trying to articulate in the concept of doing well to do good hit me. I'm actually convinced that today, the more soul and the more purpose you have as an organization, the more profitable you will be. And as a result of that, you will attract, retain, and engage the most amazing employees, and you will create effortless loyalty with your consumers. So our goal is to touch the lives of 1 billion people where we have stores and through our social impact. All of that, I mean, what we feel like we're uniquely positioned to deliver in the world is the combination of athleticism and mindfulness. And we're obviously incredibly committed to that. So obviously, trusting, listening, and purpose. I mean, what I really see, my vision for leadership in the 21st century is an environment where you trust each other, you trust yourself. That happens through personal development. The concept of question storming and listening, actively listening, which drives curiosity, which drives innovation, is paramount to your success. And purpose, I really do feel that once you've done your personal development, aligning your own purpose with the purpose of your organization is critical, because when life works, work works. So very simple messages. Thank you. And I've got a call to action. So Roman gave me an email address. And what I'm challenging you to do is to drop me a note and articulate with me what you're going to do to commit sustainably and powerfully to personal development for your people. And a small group of us will pick the top 3, and we'll hook you up with amazing product, and then one of our ambassadors for an amazing sweat session. So thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of the afternoon.